And this is another kiln that I'm unloading now. I'm doing a compilation, so there'll be multiple kilns, just to have highlights. And I may put them at the end of a video, or I may make a whole video out of it. But anyway, here we go. This is the latest kiln unloading. Got a bunch of mugs, variegated blue, bright blue, and oatmeal. Looks like I got a couple of nice bowls in here. Same glaze on that. Actually, no, that's my other baby blue, I call it, glaze, which I don't use very often. And here it is again, baby blue on this one. So Ash Glaze is in Mastering Cone 6 glazes as well. Here's one that has the baby blue with variegated blue and oatmeal. So it's a different variation on my usual blue, but it's very slightly different, I would say. Now look at this, let's hope. When it runs like this, I sometimes think, okay, it'll be stuck on the kiln shelf. No. Oh, yucky. Yeah, well done. No, it didn't, but it ran so much. Look, you got runs everywhere, and I did wipe just enough off the bottom by the look of it. That is variegated blue down there too, so I've actually managed to control variegated blue quite a while now. I actually added some glaze thinner, but anyway, it's beautiful. Look at this. Really, really nice. Great runs in there. Bright blue over the top with oatmeal. Here is a little Icelandic bowl, those Icelandic colors that I've been doing. Really nice outside, and the inside has got the kind of, I'm doing the kind of bay idea with a wintry sort of color scheme. That turned out very nice too. Got some nice runs in the center there. Variegated blue, bright blue, mouse gray, and oatmeal. All these glazes, oh, this one's nice. All these glazes are mostly in Mastering Cone 6 glaze book. This one's very nice. This is on red clays, I guess. I can't tell because of my oatmeal glaze over it, but bright blue with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top there, and then the bottom I dipped oatmeal, so that overlaps the bright blue down there as well. That's got a really nice coloring in there. Yeah, this is winter, and I just had a really good sales day in the gallery today. Nice. And somebody bought 42 coffee mugs for a coffee gallery. So thank you, Michael. In the Mahone Bay in Nova Scotia, it's called The Barn, I guess. The Coffee Barn or The Barn. I think it's just called The Barn. Take a look at it online. It's a really nice coffee house. This is just spectacular. Look at the bottom, the way that coloring there is. Really nice on that one. And then here's my matte turquoise, and it's got yellow dipped over the top. So this is a color I don't use very often, but I really should. Look at that, it's very nice. Got a really nice feel to it as well. So it's kind of, I don't know, silky. It's not a high sheen glaze, but you've definitely got a sheen there. And then the colors just really look nice up on top there, with a little yellow in the top on the inside, because it's yellow over that color. And then here, wow, no runs at all yet. This firing profile I'm using is really good. And I've shown you it before. I can show you doing the ramp hole, but that is my green glaze over folk art white. That's very nice. Buttery. Oh wow. What did I do here? Well, it's folk art white. Very, very pretty bowl, isn't that? Folk art white, and my guess is I did my yellow oatmeal and my apple green over it. Because that would be my yellow oatmeal that's dipping over the top that way, and then the apple green that way. But those colors are just really, really nice. Makes me think of summer. Yeah, very pretty. Sometimes I should do some mugs like this, I think, as well. As potters, we just make mugs. I mean, I know we get bored of it, but it's like you have to just pump out coffee mugs because that's what most people can afford, and most people have room for in their little bag or on an airplane when they're traveling. This is variegated blue with bright blue and oatmeal over it. These runs were really good. There's just a hint of some sticking there, and the sandpaper will just get rid of that, but that's the only run so far in all these pieces. But look at the inside. Isn't that just spectacular? Gosh. There was only, I think, a 15-20 minute soak at top temperature. I'll show you the profile. These glazes, and of course glazes are different for everybody. Even if you had the exact glazes I have, if you hold it in for a fraction of a second longer, or a full second longer, you get runs. It's just that sensitive to glazes. This is my recycled clay, so this is left over from a while back. I'm going to be recycling my clay again probably next week. I usually produce work for about 6 weeks and then have to recycle clay again. And that old pug mill I've had for close of 35 years. That's a nice one. That's speckled clay with my matte turquoise with yellow over the top of the matte turquoise. Oh, I did do one of those mugs, like the bowl. Very nice. Happy summer mug. Yeah, just really pretty. You can see from the size my hand holding them. There's the duct tape I stuck on my finger 3 days ago. I said that in one video not that long ago. And it's still on my finger. If I had a band-aid, it would be falling off the day I put it on with throwing on the wheel. But this thing, I throw on the wheel several times a day and it's still there. And it stops your finger from wearing out when you're pressing your little finger on the wheel head. Okay, so we have, this is my number 16 glaze, which is basically the bright blue with a little bit of iron in as well. And that's in Mastering Con 6 glazes. And then I've got bright blue and oatmeal, or it could be variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. And where I put the oatmeal over the number 16 glaze, you get that baby blue effect too. So that's similar to the baby blue glaze that I have. I don't put these pieces out into my gallery till midsummer probably, so I just box them up. So if there's anything you like, just tell me. I've been shipping a lot of pieces out in the last month from videos, so people, you can just give me the timestamp in the video, and then I send you a detailed photograph of it, and if you want it, I'll mail it to you. And we do PayPal and credit cards and e-transfers within Canada. Folk art white with green over the top, and this is a baking dish. This is the red clay number 80 from Laguna, which actually goes in the oven. Here's another baking dish. Press the dark red clay. Bright blue over that red clay gives you this beautiful turquoisey blue. And then you've got variegated blue. So variegated blue that way and oatmeal over that way. And I'm going to be boxing things up because my studio is getting full of finished pots now. I need to store for the rest of the winter. Another one of those. Oh look, it did run, but on these nice kiln shelves, nothing sticks. There's just a little bit. It didn't run there though. It must have been something on the shelf already. But there's a little bit I have to sand there. And here are my little bottle stoppers that I make for putting in bottles. I fire them on a little kiln prop like that. They sit basically up, so they're not touching this thing because I don't glaze that part. But I make these little bottle stoppers. And I've always thought it'd be neat if you could find a sort of rubbery, waxy product that you could actually dip the bottom in, so you could make a real stopper that would be leak-proof. But I've never found that substance. Maybe somebody knows about it. You could buy it in the hardware store as a little jar or something. Maybe something like they used to use wax for jam. Maybe something like that. But you could just dip it on there, and then you'd have a seal for your little bottles. Because I use these for salad dressing, and I like to shake it up. But what I've done is I've made a plastic little washer on one of mine at home. That I stuck around here, and then it does work. There's my little sauce bottles. Ooh, that one's stuck on there. So that's one of the little bottles. I think I just poked myself. No, it's not bleeding. Okay. So little sauce bottles, a couple of the holes blocked up in that, but basically that's for putting inside a chicken. And there's one there to match the other one as well. Two more of the bugs. I'm glad I did some, because those are really nice colors with the folk art white, and I add a little bit of ilmenite and yellow ochre to it to give it a sort of yellowy look, but then the apple green on the top. Oh, and that was fired on that shelf too, and that one turned out spectacular, but no runs on the bottom. Oh, I did bleed. Oh well. So a nice bowl with all the runs. Isn't that pretty? Amazing. And all that. It's like an abstract painting. But there's a lot of abstract painters that wish they could get that. There we go. Okay, I have a lot of pots. I've got to start boxing things up. I always hate that time. It takes me a day sometimes just to organize and box things up for the summer. But it has to be stored. It's part of the job. Being a potter, there's a lot of little things we do that, like shoveling snow, that we actually have to do. You know. Okay, this is the other kiln. So I've got some experiments in here. This is the fake Ash Glaze. And it has a definite kind of texture to the glaze, which resembles wood-fired, but I'm not happy with it. It's a bit too textural, I think. So, this one, on the other hand, I have to figure out what I did, because that one I really like and all that. So it's got a really nice, I think it was the, let's move this over a bit, the shadows. This one I think I did the apple green over the top of fake ash, and then a bit of oatmeal on the top of that, and it really came out nice. And it's also on, I think, the white clay, and this one was on the speckled clay. And I think this one I had the yellow glaze over the top with a little bit of green over the top of that. But anyway, this one I was very happy with. Got some nice crystals forming from the oatmeal. Here we've got the Tenriku Gold. You've just seen that video by the time this comes out. So we've pretty much resolved this issue with Tenriku Gold being so different in all the firings. Now I've got it predictable. But of course everything else has to conform to Tenriku Gold now, because it's so nice. But I could actually slow the cooling down a bit and get a bit more of these kind of flecks of gold, which I'm going to try doing next. This is a glaze I call number 16. It's basically my blue glaze with some iron in it, and then it's got variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. This is my apple green, but it's the old apple green, and look how olive it comes. It's really nice. I like that. These are tiny little kind of mugs, more for espresso type coffees, I guess. I had a bunch of these ones in here. So this glaze is, it's called my slop green glaze now, because I mixed up some 2 or 3 greens in it and some slop glaze, and so I don't know how to get it again, but it's doing pretty nice. This is my red clay, dark red iron clay with the bright blue over it and variegated blue and oatmeal. So the actual bright blue gets much darker. I'm not sure if you can see it properly in there, but it's a really nice blue, but it's very dark. I posted that video of goblets prior to the time this gets online, and yeah, this one's that textural, and I'm not sure I like it over the speckled clay. It seems to get bubbly a bit, but I posted my video with all the storm we just had. It was a big storm, howling winds last night. Oh, that's got some sort of purpley look to it. That's the red clay making the blue get a little reddish almost through the blue. But yeah, we had, must have been 100-kilometer gusts of wind last night, blowing the snow. These are just stoppers for my little bottles. I make these, it's a decorative thing, but it works. It's on the little bottles that I make for the chicken roasters. And those I always put the blue glaze on. It's kind of a nice. And I have to use the oven clay for these pieces because they go in the oven. But they're just little birds for stoppers that go in bottles. This is one of the baking dishes. It's in the red clay, which goes in the oven. Just with apple green and my basic oatmeal on this one. This is the folk art white, which is gorgeous over the red clay. And then you've got the green highlighting it on the outside. See, it's not straight folk art white. I added some yellow ochre, which is yellow iron oxide, and some ilmenite to it, I think, as well. But that's really pretty. It was a bit hot down here, I think. Maybe I should let this go for a little bit longer. Okay, so what do we have underneath here? This is the bright blue, dark blue, I'm not sure which one, with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. My guess is that's my dark blue because it looks practically black. But these are those little expression marks. Oh yeah, it must be, because there's one. This one is bright blue and this one is dark blue, but the red clay makes them get really dark. Here's another one of the Tenmaku Gold. We've got it very predictable now. That whole video I just did of this glaze combination of Tenmaku Gold, variegated blue and oatmeal has really resolved that, and we don't get runs down the handle, which is even nicer. Same again, but this is over the dark red clay, so the Tenmaku Gold is looking really dark. And there's still flecks in it, you can still see the flecks, but that glaze underneath makes that really dark. So I prefer it over the white clay, but these are nice baking dishes. Ooh, that's a nice combo. Variegated blue, folk art white with green over the top. That's the apple green. That's a very nice little mug. And two more of the Tagines. I've got to sand the backwash off the edges there a little bit. But this is the basic oatmeal on the inside with some variegated blue, I think, over the top. Or is it? I'm pretty sure it's just the variegated blue, but it really went light grey. Oh, that's because I put folk art white over it too. So we had folk art white with variegated blue over the top. So that's a nice little combination. I like the lighter ones for baking. We're going to be cooking on the stove directly on these. We're going to try one. Laguna makes that clay. It's called Flamewear Clay. That's really pretty too. Nice effect. What did I do? Rutile green is my guess. And then folk art white, I think. Apple green maybe? I can't remember. I think it was rutile green with folk art white dipped at the edge too. But the oatmeal is on the inside. That really is a nice surface to bake on, I hope. Of the Tagine. These are still a little hot. Look how gorgeous that is. So I was dipping with oatmeal down on the bottom with folk art white on the edge, and then I did the green over the top. Oh, the inside splashed a little bit when I pulled it out, I guess. But that's very pretty. Fits perfectly. That's a big one too. Yeah, these are still a little bit too hot, but I guess since they're flameware, it won't matter anyway. Variegated blue over the oatmeal. Yeah, because I usually do it the other way around, oatmeal over the top, but this time I did the variegated blue over the top of the oatmeal, and it has a nice effect. I've not seen that before because I don't usually do it that way, but very nice on the inside too. And that's the other big one, variegated blue again over that red clay. It's a very terracotta coloured clay. As you can see, I left the top part unglazed, so it'll be a bit textural to lift up when you're lifting a hot lid when you're cooking. Because it's supposed to retain the steam inside, so it's bound to get almost boiling point as a piece while you're cooking. And you've got to lift the lid off to look at them. there they are. There's the little Tagine. And there's the other one. Okay, wow. This is the, is this recycled? It's either recycled or it's my 455 speckled clay. That one turned out very nice. Another dark blue over speckled clay with variegated blue and oatmeal. Oops, still collapse. Will it come off? There you go. So I'll need to grind it just a little bit there, but it's still collapsed underneath the pot. But the variegated blue oatmeal ran so nice. Over the white clay, I think that would stand up a lot better. These are just the sauce bottles I put in the chicken. Another one there. So I've got baking dishes and stoppers to match these. So it's just it's to retain the sauce and make the chicken tender. Oops. And that's a chip and dip in my recycled clay. Yep, that's the recycled clay. I have to sand the bottom of that. That's got quite a bit of texture to it. But the speckles get enhanced when I use the recycled clay. I'm not sure why, because it's got every clay body I use in my studio in this clay, but it always has a much more textural effect on it. Another baking dish, Tenriku Gold with the variegated blue and the oatmeal. Yeah, this is the speckled clay. See how it darkens the Tenriku Gold, so I think this will be definitely a... Oh, that's pretty on that side though. Just knock these out quickly because they're all the same. Now I've got this so predictable with the runs. We're just, depending on length of glaze dip, it will change the look of it. So each one's still different. Like this one has some difference to the actual edge of the run. That one's really nice. There's some greens in there too. And that's just the variegated blue, but the variegated blue has some copper in it. Same with that one. Some greens in the edge of the blue. One is speckled clay too, bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. So that's that kiln. Okay, this is another kiln. We'll see if we've got any highlights out of this one. This is my baby blue glaze that I don't use very often. I have lots of this, but I just barely use it. It's a nice color, yeah. There's always something to find. That's the problem with this, so much to do and so little time. And here's another one of that folk art. No, it's the fake ash glaze with something over the top of it that doesn't like the fake ash. So I've got to figure that one out. Might be the oatmeal over the top, I'm not sure. Because there's no color in there, so I think it's just the oatmeal and it doesn't like the fake ash. But on its own, it's really sweet. Very nice. So I wonder why it doesn't like something like oatmeal over it. This is my regular oatmeal with some yellow in it. Well, it's the yellow oatmeal. Yellow oatmeal again. Another yellow oatmeal, which looks really good with the green on the bottom. Should remember that one, because it does, it makes it, rather than the oatmeal on the bottom, I think it likes the green. Some more chicken baking dishes. That nice variegated blue oatmeal on the rim is always a nice attractive feature of the Tenmoku Gold on the dark red clay. It always comes out so dark on the dark red. Here's the fake ash with the, just the green over the top, and that one does work nicely. The stilt got really close to the edge there. I'll have to file that, sand it a little bit. Almost fell off the stilt, but I love the runs down the, for the fake ash kind of look. I get glazes a lot off the internet, so I play around, and every so often I feel like I've got a bit of space, I can mix a glaze up. I'll just search for something that I don't have and then refine it a little bit. But anyway, that's a really nice baking dish as well. Here's more of the, oh, and I cooked last night. This is the Tagine. And I actually used it last night, though I took one home to test it to make sure, and I cooked a dinner in one of these last night and it worked fine. I have another clay, this. I made one of these to put on my electric stove. It's just a ring that's on the stove. I have a very old-fashioned stove. So I put this on the, and it, turned up low, then turn it up low medium, and then turn it up medium, and at that point I put this on top and it was fine, worked good. It says in the book to heat these slowly so you're cooking for a little longer when you're using them. But isn't that a pretty cooking dish? And then it has the dome over the top. Oh, I can show you the dome. I still got it here. There you go. So that's what they look like. It's a nice cooking thing to present to the table. Couple more apple baking dishes or chicken roasters. That's a nice green on the back of that one. Got some nice crystals in there. And there's the red iron clay. There's a close-up of that one. There's another Tagine. I think that was number 16 glaze over the top there, which is the same as my bright blue with some iron in it. And there's some lids. And more lids. And more lids again. So what are these for, I wonder? I have a nurse friend called Nicole who wanted a pickling pot, whatever you call them. Sap for making pickled cabbage and things like that. So I made her one of these. So one of these lids fits on here. And she gets to pick her favorite because there are 3 of them. And all that. So I think these are old-fashioned. People put a weight on them. I still got to make the weights, but that's nice. I did it in my Icelandic colors. So that's a nice big pot. And there's the small one. She wanted a ½ gallon, and I think I've made them all about a gallon. But they're just different sizes. I know somebody can tell me what the real name of these is. These are. And there's the Tagine base for this one. Oh, I think I mixed up the lids. Yep, that one fits that one. And this one is this one. Okay, so I had 2 of these. And there's the last one of the, and the lids all fit perfectly. So nice big jar for making I think it's for making sauerkraut, something like that. I know I haven't used this glaze for a while. This is my matte turquoise. And there it is with my other turquoise. I think, unless what did I dip? Oh, I dipped yellow over the top. You can see the yellow inside. So that's the matte turquoise with the yellow over it. The other one too, so that's why there's a variation a little bit there. I've got 25 glazes and I use probably about 8 of them all the time. and the others I use randomly, but that's pretty. I should do more of these. And all that. I always still do the oatmeal on the inside. So. Alright, so it was worth watching till the end, I guess. Okay, this is a Randy's Red profile firing, which I've posted on my Randy Red video. And I used tomato red and Randy's Red in this firing, and also some Harris Tenmaku to see what it all did. And you can see we get the Randy's Red is pretty red when you do that, but it only goes red in parts on the outside, which is nice because it varies a little bit, and there's variegated blue over the top of that as well. And this one became like an abstract painting. Look at that. This was the grey that was on the rim that for some reason dribbled down, and I have no clue as to how that happened, but the red is just perfect. But it's nice the way it did it. It gave you a sort of a zen type of thing. I love the breaking to black on there. That's really nice. And then we've got, I'm not sure whether this is, yeah, this one probably is Harris Tenmaku, but this is Randy's Red or Harris Tenmaku with the variegated blue. And it was a long soak at an hour at top temperature. And so it ran all the way down but didn't run off the bottom, so that's perfect. And then again, oh, there's some little, no, it's not that bad, just a little sanding there to be, but this run is just all the way down from the top. I only dipped to the handle on these, the top of the handle, so, but these are really pretty. I didn't do any oatmeal, it was just the actual variegated blue. That one has got to be the Harris Tenmaku, because the Harris Tenmaku breaks to black. But look how rich that one is. So Harris Tenmaku with the actual variegated blue over the top, and then on the fluting it breaks to black on the when it gets thinnest. Another Randy's Red one. That one's red pretty much all the way around with the variegated blue over it. Very pretty again. This little tiny kiln is only a 3 or 4, I can't remember what size it was, 3.5 cubic feet, but it really works nice for doing quick firings. And look at the red of that. That is red. But once again, on the outside you just get red in places, so that obviously is where it's getting hotter probably, but the variegated blue runs down a little bit, so it kind of hides it. But that is really red. Look at that. Whoa. Randy's Red again. And the variegated blue, and no clue as to why that went sort of dark. That's just the way the glaze ran off the pot, I suppose, when I was glazing it. But it gives you a nice variation of color all the way around. But beautiful red on the inside. This one is Harris Tenmaku, and this is like the traditional Tenmaku that I grew up with when I was at high school. You've got some really brown and black areas in here. Not sure what the oil spotting is, but there are glazes they're called, oil spot glazes. That kind of looks like what that did. But this one really went black, I guess where it's thinnest. And then brown in this area too there. But this is like your traditional iron Tenmaku. And actually I would say this is the best that glaze has ever looked. Because I've been kind of playing with it but disappointed most of the time, but that's doing what I expected it would do. When I got the recipe, which was on the internet somewhere. This one could be tomato red. But you've got some really nice lines in here where it breaks to black. So I think this is tomato red. It's not quite as red as the actual Randy's Red. Oh, that one's really nice. Look at the rich, on the lines going down over the fluting area on the high points. That is, oh, look at the handle did it too. That's really nice. Wow. So which, it has to be tomato red. I only use 3 glazes, Randy's red, tomato red, and Harris. I guess it could be Harris, but I think that's actually, because Harris breaks to black, and that's breaking to like an amber, a gloss amber in between. That is beautiful. Wow, I really like that one. Yeah, I'll have to take a picture of that. Did it again here. Yeah, I think I did like 4 or 6 of each mug. But that one is really pretty. I'm going to do another firing with some mugs. And I can't remember what clay body this was. I don't think it's the speckled clay. It's probably my white, what's the one? 516 from Pottery Supply House. It's like a porcelain, kind of stoneware white, but boy, these are really pretty. Another Randy's red. And since I've taken 2 out of these, yeah, this is the second Randy's red. So, and then we had the other one I took out. I think that was the Harris 10 McCoo. Let's keep that aside. And what were the first 2? So I actually, the Randy's red and tomato red look the same because there's 4 of these. So on the inside, they both work the same, both glazes. There were 2 of each. Let's see what we have here. I cannot tell the difference between all 4 of those. Tomato red and Randy's red, if you find those recipes on the internet, they kind of look the same. But I keep going back to that because it's so nice. And here is the other Harris 10 McCoo. I am happy with this. This is the best. I'm going to start firing this in the same 10 Randy's red firings. It's coming down to the fact that I have so many glazes that I have to only fire some pieces together. That's the only way we can do it. And this is the baking dish clay, which is, no, it's actually number 80 from Laguna Clay Company. But with the variegated blue over the top, it's really nice. I'm going to try putting the oatmeal over the top of some of them next. But that's very pretty. And I should have 4 of these, I guess, as well. There's another one of the surprise gem out of the firing. There are 4 of these. I'm going to photograph them because I want to be able to do it again. And here's a Harris 10 McCoo one, I think. Or is it tomato red? This could be tomato red. Because it is breaking to black a little bit, but there's a bit of red in there, which I don't think you get with Harris 10 McCoo. What's the last one? This is the last one. Yeah, we've got the same breaking to a little red there, not really black. So I think these are either tomato red or see what the differences are. That is a definite, gosh, you know, that is Harris 10 McCoo then. Let's have a look at these. I know I've only got 4 of each one. That's very similar to the other one. Yeah, so I think these were Harris 10 McCoo. Wow. I'm just going to have to, because I do think there's only 3 styles in this kiln. That one's breaking to black though. That's what I thought was Harris 10 McCoo. But it could be. Anyway, we'll have to experiment. I'll label some next time. I'll write on the bottom of the mugs what they are. But this one, I think, is my favorite of the firing. There's 4 of these, and I think they turned out really good. But, alright, here you go. Quick firing, unloading.